We're going to go to line one and say a very good morning here to the Honourable Member for Humber East and the Minister of Finance, President of the Treasury Board, Tom Marshall. Good morning.
Hi, Randy. How you doing?
I am well, sir. How are you?
Good. Randy, I heard a bit of the discussion on Muskrat Falls yesterday, and I had to call in, and I want to read you something from a book written by a man named Wally Reed and another man named L.J. Cole.
Okay.
And it was about the Beta Spare hydroelectric development. Now, Wally Reed was a pretty famous Newfoundlander and Labrador, and he's from my hometown of Corner Brook. He's a member of the Order of Canada, and he's a guy who traveled all over the world giving presentations on electricity.
All right.
And here's what they say. They're talking about the
Beta Spare.
Beta Spare project. He said it was a project conceived in the first instance back in the 20s, but was not given the green light until 1964. Like most undertakings, it was long overdue before it was started. And only then did it move under the forceful insistence of the government of the province and one or two individuals who had the fortitude to stand by what they knew was necessary to meet the future energy requirements of the province. They were criticized and outnumbered by many, many times to one by critics who in the main lacked sufficient vision or knowledge of the project or its implications on the economy.
Mm-hmm.
This, of course, could be said of every major undertaking in the history of our civilization. They go on to say the Beta Spare, like the transatlantic communication cable, like the Canadian Pacific Railway, like the Trans-Canada Pipeline, like Churchill Falls development, and many other achievements, had to be done because it was in the overall interest of our people. It was an answer to a crying need. It remained undone for as long as it had for a lack of a person dedicated to dedicate his efforts to the task. It was done by the unrelenting efforts of one or two to bulldoze all obstacles aside and never let the frustrations of the moment distract them from their goal. And he ends it as follows, and I'm quoting here. He says, the opposition were the usual types, ones who knew no better but wanted to be heard, and that's excusable. Ones who knew better but still wished to be heard, and that's inexcusable. And ones who placed their private interest above those of the public interest, and that's damnable. And it's so interesting that it's the same, we have the same debate today over a project like Muskrat, and the same debate took place back before the Beta Spare project, and right now everybody welcomes the Beta Spare project, and look what it's accomplished for the people of the province. Mm-hmm. So it's awfully interesting that the same debate raged then as is raging right now.
So history does repeat itself.
It certainly does indeed. And again, with what's the problem? Why would we contemplate a project like Muskrat Falls? It's because there's a need. We're going to run out of electricity. And the people that work at Hydro, they've been doing this for what? Before Hydro, they were the Power Commission. They're Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. They're engineers, and every year they have to do a demand forecast. And they're telling us that we're going to have a deficit to meet our electricity needs in a few years.
I guess that's one of the challenges which I laid on Kevin Aylward yesterday, and I've asked others about it as well. Those who are in opposition to this project. I have no problem with people disagreeing with the project and debating it, and I'm all for that. Good debate is healthy.
Of course.
I question, though, when people question the motive. Okay, so why would the Dunderdale administration want to saddle the people of the province with a really bad project? What's in this for Ed Martin and Nalcor that, this almost conspiracy theory piece I have difficulty with? It's one thing to say, we think that the road you're taking is wrong. It's quite another to say, we think your road you're taking is wrong, and you're doing it deliberately.
Exactly.
What motivates that? And that's a little bit of a struggle.
Because it's in the interest of certain people to defeat this project for political interest. That's what's happening here, and that's part of the debate. And it's good that we have the discussion and we flush all this out, and then the people can decide. They can hear both sides and make their own decision, which is they're certainly going to do. But that's problem number one. We're going to run out of electricity, so we have to build capacity to meet that need.
Yeah.
And of course the other problem,
and then the debate, of course, centers around how do we build that capacity, and from where does it come?
Right, but there's a further problem. And that's the Holyrood situation. Holyrood, manufactures electricity based on dirty oil that they get from all over the world, from Iraq and Iran and Venezuela and Russia, places like that. And Holyrood is used to make electricity by utilizing oil.
Yeah.
And, Hollywood started back in the 70s. The cost of a barrel of oil was $3. Well, yesterday it was $89.
Mm-hmm.
And the experts that we talk to tell us that it'll be very volatile, but that the long-term trend will be higher and higher and higher.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to drive electricity prices.
Mm-hmm.
And electricity prices, as Minister Skinner has said, will go up 7-8% a year.
8% a year is what he's saying.
With Muskrat Falls, they won't go up.
Except we're hearing conflicting arguments on that, obviously, on both, first of all, the demand side, the increasing demand side. We're hearing conflicting arguments on that. And for me, the biggest debate, to be honest with you, Minister, and I know we're out of time here, but for me, the biggest debate isn't Muskrat Falls. It's what are we doing to the lower Churchill? What's the impact on Gull Island, on money in the Treasury? It's one thing to build a line because we need some energy, and we're going to pay for that. I got it. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a moneymaker up there that's worth more than any oil well we're ever going to own.
That's right.
And are we going to, we talk about, we're just going to let the water run over the falls. Boy, I want to tell you, upstream from Muskrat
is Gull.
We got $1.5 billion in 2003 a year running over the falls.
Yes, and of course the Churchill Falls power will come back in 2041, but we got to have the right to get the Gull power through Quebec, and we have filed court actions in the courts of Quebec to try to get some of that back. And in the meantime, negotiations are continuing with Nalcor and through the Régie to get the right to do it. And I think there is some confidence that we might be able, to
get it done.
But
Minister, we got to clue up. I got 10 seconds.
All right. Well, in 10 seconds, the key thing is we want to lower hydro rates for the people of this province. That's the key thing. And that's why we got to do Muskrat Falls to get that. And I'll come on next week and we'll talk about drug prices.
Let's do that, please.
All right.
Tom Marshall, Minister of Finance, President of the Treasury Board. Thanks for this, sir.
Good talking to you, Ren.
Have a great day. He is also, by the way, the Honourable Member for Humber East. And I keep remembering we're in a political year, so I keep trying to tell all of their districts when they call, let everybody know where they're from.